Alright, so in this tutorial today we're going to be going over solid models. We're going to draw it out in 2D wireframes, doing some extrusions and then doing some other things to get this part designed, and then we'll go over some methods of programming it. Alright, so let's get to it. I'm going to go ahead and do a new file. I'm going to save this one real quick. I'm just going to call it temp part. Alright, so first thing I'm going to go do is I'm going to go to my view tab. I'm going to turn on gnomes, and then I'm going to go ahead and shift middle mouse this to the top left corner of the screen here. We're going to use a couple different levels, so to do that you could turn on your levels tab in the view section up here. And down here I'm going to do number 2. I'm going to call it my solid, sorry. And then for number 1 I'm going to call it my wireframe. Okay, so in my wireframe tab I'm going to create a rectangle. I'm going to do 6 inches wide and -4 inches for the height. And I'm going to snap it to my origin here. Alright, perfect. I'm going to click OK. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to view and then turn off my gnome. So we're going to start with this rectangle. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a circle. I'm going to do a diameter of 1 inch. And then I also have those values locked here. And I'm going to snap it to this corner. I'm going to snap it to this corner. Okay. And then also in the wireframe tab, I'm going to go over here to fillet entities. I'm going to select that. I'm going to turn trim entities off. And we are doing a 1/4 inch radius, 0.25. So I'm going to put a fillet here, fillet here, a fillet here, and a fillet here. I'm going to click OK. And then next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to do a 1/2 inch diameter, and then I'm also going to snap it to these 2 corners here. Perfect. And click OK. And now I'm going to do break 2 pieces. So we're going to break the geometry up so we could clean it up in here. So I'm going to click this line, and then I'm going to trim it to the fillet. Select my circle, trim it to the fillet. Select my line, trim it to the fillet. Select the circle and trim it to the fillet. I'm going to come down and do the same thing down here. Click the line, trim to fillet. Click the line, trim to fillet. Click my circle, trim to the fillet, and select my circle and trim to the fillet. Okay, you can press escape to exit that tool we were using, and now we can just select the geometry we no longer require. So you have it all selected here, and then just go ahead and click delete. So we have that going for us right now, and then we're going to add some chamfers to these corners here. So chamfer entities, we're going to do 1 distance, 1/4 inch for distance 1, and then we're just going to do it on these corners here, and then select OK. And then next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select my point position tool, and I'm going to type in a couple values here. I'm going to type in 0, -1 inch. So 0, -1, enter. And then 0, -3, enter. So I'm going to go ahead and select that point, and then I'm going to snap it to the end of my line here. So for line tools, I have freeform, 2 points, and we could turn off tangent. Not that important. And if you zoom in, you can see that it's snapped to the end of the first line. All right, perfect. Select OK. Now let's do a 3-point arc for the other side. For that, I'm going to select my point on the bottom of the geometry here, and then I'm going to snap it to the end of my bottom line. And then I'm going to snap it to the center of my 1/2-inch circle here. Then I'm going to click OK, and then I'm going to do trim entities. I'm going to select that arc that we just made and go ahead and trim it to our fillet. And these are going to be guidelines for our 3D model, but we'll leave it there for now. So select OK. So we're making good progress so far. And then for the 2 slots, I'm going to do a rectangle here. Well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, let's add a point here, and I'm going to add 3 inches, comma, 3 inches, comma, -2. So we have a point in the center of our part here. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my freeform line tool and just do this. And we're going to get rid of that geometry later, but for what we're going to do, this is going to be an easy way of doing it. So in rectangles, I'm going to expand the menu options here. I'm going to go to rectangular shapes. I'm going to go to ob round. And then for origin, I'm going to do the top point here. And I'm going to hit my space bar. Oops, sorry. So go back to rectangles, rectangular shapes, space bar. I'm going to do 1 inches over, -1 inch down. And then I'm going to define the properties that I want in here. So I'm going to do 0.5, 1/2 inch width. And then for height, I'm going to do 2 inches. And we have our slot geometry here. So I'm going to click OK. And then I'm going to shift click this to select the chain. And then in our transform tab here, I'm going to click mirror. And I'm going to select a vector. And I'm going to select that line we just drew. So now we have a slot on both sides. You can go ahead and highlight all that and get rid of it. Okay, so good progress so far. And then I'm going to go back to my wireframe tab. I'm going to click circle center point. My values are locked, so it just makes things a little bit easier. I'm going to do a 2-inch diameter. And then I'm going to go ahead and type in the values here. So 3 inches, comma, -2 inches. And we have our 2-inch diameter circle here. The next thing I'm going to do is 0.1 or 1.5 or 1.5 inches for the next diameter. Oops. That's fine. We can click OK and create new operation, then go 2 inch. And we should be able to snap it to the circle we just generated. So we have an OD and an ID now. And I'm going to click OK. Perfect. So this almost sums up what we need to do for our 2D geometry so far. So I'm going to go ahead and extrude these. So I'm going to go to my solids tab. I'm going to click extrude. And we're going to go around the chain here. We're going to have to help it out. So we have 2 directions here. We're going to select the red one. And it goes all the way over here, and we have a closed chain. Select my slots, select my holes, and I'm going to select the ID diameter in the center. Okay. And we're going to extrude downwards by 1 inch. If yours is going up, just go ahead and click that blue-red arrow and we'll extrude downwards. Alright, perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and click OK and create new operations. And I'm going to select the OD and ID. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to flip the direction. And there we go. I'm going to click OK. So now we have a basic solid model here. And then for these sweeps, I'm going to show you how to do that. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this tool, or that solid and this solid. I'm going to hit Boolean, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit Add. So type, we're going to do Add. And I'm going to click the arrow with the blue plus sign. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to select that solid. Click OK, and OK. And now we have one solid. So go ahead and right click. We're going to go to G view and we're going to go to left. So down at the bottom, make sure your C plane is in the left plane and your T plane is also in the left plane. Although T plane's probably not too critical right now, but so back to our wireframe. I'm going to click point position. And I'm going to type in 0, comma, negative 0.5. And then I'm also going to just do one at 0, 0. So we're going to connect the dots now. From that line to that point, that line to that point, that line, that point to that point. So now we have a nice little triangle right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. We have that. And an easy thing to do here would just to go ahead and go to in your C plane. Let's go back to the top. And I'm going to draw a line, and we're going to snap it to the center of this front line. And just make sure it's perpendicular to this edge here. If you right click and go top, you can see that it's pretty good at just snapping 90-degree angles. So now I'm going to go ahead and click OK with that. And I'm going to shift click this geometry here. I'm going to go to my transform, mirror. For vector, I'm going to select that line that we just drew. Okay. So now we have triangles on both sides here. So now we can, so in your C plane, your construction plane, we're going to leave it at top. We're going to go back to solids and we're going to do some sweeps. So first thing we need to do is select our profile. So click the blue arrow, make sure we got that triangle selected, that triangle chain selected. We're going to click OK. And then we're going to select this line right here, just the line, that's it, and click OK. Okay, so it created a new body that goes all the way through here. That's not exactly what we want. We want it to cut. So under type, we select cut body, and now we have that nice tapered surface, and click OK. And then for the other side, we're going to do a sweep along this arc. So go ahead and go back to our sweep tool. We're going to select our triangle once again. Make sure just the triangle is highlighted. Upon chain completion, you should just get a green arrow there. So we're going to click OK, and then so that was the profile curve. This is going to be our guide curve. Select that. OK. And since we already had a cut body selected, that is now cut as well. So go ahead and click OK. And now we can hide all of this geometry. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my solid. I'm going to right click, and then under the change level button, I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then I'm going to select, and we're going to select level number 2, which we already named solid. Okay. And then under our levels tab on the left hand side here, we're going to select the number 2. And then for visibility, we can just turn off wireframes. So now we only have the solid to work with. That was pretty painless, right? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put a pause in this video and then maybe make a second video on how to program this. Alright, cool. Thanks for watching.